Hello and welcome to another Betfred Sports Show here in the Betfred Network Studios. I'm Keith Catterall, joined by Betfred's Peter Spencer. How are you doing today, Peter?
Yeah, smashing, thank you. Very happy after last night.
Well, yeah, I think we all are. So the World Cup has been quite exciting so far. What are the odds looking like for the winner of that?
Well, England, and it surprised me a little bit, this, are equal third favourites with Betfred. They're 11-2 along with Argentina. Brazil, they're favourites 9-4. They've been favourites for about 2 or 3 months now. Nothing really has budged them from that position. France are second favourites, of course we play them on Saturday. They're 4-1 to be the outright winners. And then, as I say, we've got Argentina and England, both 11-2 with Betfred, followed by Spain, they're 7-1, Portugal 11-1, and the Netherlands, they're 12-1. South Korea, the big outsiders, they're 200-1.
Exciting. So we're all still buzzing from last night's game against Senegal. How did you think that 3-0 win went for England?
Well, I thought Gareth Southgate did extremely well. He's resisted the temptation to go in with the so-called flair players, the X-rated players, the players who are going to have an X factor in the game, such as Rashford and Phillips, maybe in place of Henderson. He just sticks to his guns, and he's been proving all the critics, including me, wrong every single time. He's just an excellent manager. His record in tournament football is phenomenal. He just pulls out the right team. Not only does he get it right at the beginning of the game, but he gets it right at the end, because he brings on players such as Rashford, who are going to run teams such as Senegal, who aren't really got much finesse in terms of football, the way that we see it. They're fantastic athletes, of course, and really strong physically. But towards the end of the game, they start getting worn out, and then you bring on Rashford, and he starts running at them again, and it must be a nightmare for teams like, a bit like America as well. They haven't got it up top. They're not going to score a fantastic goal like Messi does, or Saka scored last night. They're not going to create that supreme confidence in front of goal and score great goals. So the only way they're going to win a game is by this fantastic effort that they put in the pressing game. So Southgate's getting it right in terms of the selection at the beginning, and he's proven beyond all doubt that no longer is it 11-a-side game, it's now 15-a-side. And those substitutes are so important. In the past it was like, oh, you're only on the bench. Well, it's not anymore. Those players on the bench are looking at the game as it progresses and working out for themselves that they're going to be figuring any minute, and they bring on Grealish, Rashford and others to keep the game at that level. It's not like it's weaker at the end, it's arguably stronger at the end. The way he's played it is fantastic, and it could well be our year, the way it's looking. I'm not getting ahead of myself because France are a fantastic team, but it could be that we win it for the first time since 1966.
I think you mentioned it then, but I think I'm really seeing a team this year with England, not just players doing well, an actual team unit which has worked really well for them, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has. They do seem to have good banter amongst themselves. Saw them in the tunnel before the game last night in Qatar, and they were all actively encouraging each other. And it's difficult for somebody like Maddison, there was a clamour for him to be brought in, but there isn't really a place for him at the moment because the team is doing so well. Foden, for instance, he's just excelling. His value must have quadrupled during this World Cup. He was already a highly valuable player, of course, before, but his creativity is exceptional.
And of course, France also played Poland and won 3-1 there. We're to face them pretty soon, but how was that game, first of all?
Well, it was all about Mbappe, wasn't it? He was just a phenomenal talent, and England are going to have to do something about stopping him having such an influence, otherwise we might get knocked out. But you think about Kyle Walker and the pace he's got, he could match him in terms of pace, but he's got so much more Mbappe. But it's going to be one heck of a game on Saturday night, because they are the world champions, and they've got some exceptional players, and they'll be up for it against England. But I fancy us. I mean, we've got the odds here. Betfred have England 9-4, but France are the favourites. They're 11-8. to go on and win that. The draw is 11-5. And then England to win to nil is 4-1. England to win both halves is, well, that's 14-1. I can't see that happening. It's more likely to be a draw at half time, I would imagine. And then 1-0 scoreline, Betfred have England to win 1-0, 15-2, 2-0, 14-1. 2-1, remember 2-1 is the most common bet in all levels of football, that's 10-1. And of the first goal scorers, well, Harry Kane, who's back on the score sheet against Senegal, he's 4-1 to score the first goal. Rashford 13-2, and Saka and Foden are both 8-1. Mbappe, naturally enough, is the favourite to score the first goal. He's 7-2. But the first goal scorer market has got interesting because England have had 8 scorers so far in the World Cup, including Henderson, who was 20-1 with Betfred to score that first goal against Senegal.
And of course, not only do England want to beat France to progress, but also to stop Mbappe getting that golden boot that Rashford could also end up getting. It's quite a big, way up there, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's unfortunate for Rashford because he is right up there. He's about 3rd or 4th favourites for the golden boot. But Mbappe played every minute, and he's more likely to be on the pitch and therefore more likely to score. Messi figures highly in that, of course, as well.
And of course, I believe this has affected Sports Personality of the Year. Players have been changing and coming in there. So how's that affected the odds there?
Well, Beth Mead, Lioness fame, England ladies, she's 1-5, so she's the outright favourite. Harry Kane, he's been cut in now to 12-1, second favourite. Marcus Rashford, 16-1. And then we've got Saka, he's entered the race now, he's 28-1. And Jude Bellingham, he's 50-1. So you can see that the effect of the World Cup on this market, and the Sports Personality of the Year is at the end of this month, so it's in people's minds, and it shows the significance of football in this country, that we've got 4 or 5 players figuring in that. We haven't actually won anything yet.
Yeah,
so it just shows how dominant football is. So the big news on that is that Betfred have now Saka at 28-1 and Jude Bellingham at 50-1. What an impact he's had in this team.
Yeah, Jude Bellingham is an incredible player. I think with a few years he'll be definitely one to look out for. Incredible player.
Well, you can't believe he's only 19.
No, I can't at all.
Just the way he gets stuck into those tackles against some huge players that Senegal have, and he just wouldn't duck in anything. He's exceptional.
Really
arguably the man of the match, although I'd still give it Foden for his creativity, and he created 2 of those goals.
There's a few young players there that are doing amazingly, aren't they? You mentioned Foden and Bellingham, both are young players, but in performing incredibly, aren't they, really?
Yeah, they are. And don't rule out Rashford as well. He's only 25. But it is a great blend that he's got there, Southgate. And I think he's... If he quits at the end of this World Cup, as it's rumoured that he will, whatever happens, his name is right up there in terms of any kind of Premier League team, barring, say, City, Liverpool, but the rest of them will be looking for his expertise. So I don't think he'll be out of work for long.
Definitely, and we're looking forward to Saturday to play against France as well. But on other news, I believe you've had a big win in the North East, haven't you?
Yeah, we have. We've got someone who's won £60,000 with a 25p lucky 31 each way bet. He won on 5 races, and he's won that enormous amount of money from such a small stake. So good luck to him, and hopefully I'll be speaking to him later on, so I'll have more news when I'm next in on Friday.
Fabulous. Nice Christmas for him then, hopefully.
Yeah,
Nice little Christmas
say that
vlog.
again, yeah.
Wonderful. Well, we look forward to Saturday's game, but until then, if you would like to bet, Betfred are now open. You can bet online and in the app as well.